Here we are, and we're live. Justin, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Guys, if you're tuning in on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, drop in a comment, say hello, let us know where in the world you are tuning in from. It's always interesting to see where our audience is. With these lives, always like to make it as interactive as possible, so you will see your questions come up, whether you're tuning in, whatever platform you're on, YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. We'll see your comments come through. We can bring them up on the screen. Today is all about talking about Justin's journey and the incredible success that he's had on the world's second largest search engine, and one of the most powerful mediums to distribute video. Justin has built a six-figure marketing company, been in video production and media for 20 years. He's got over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, built a very successful business there. And to be honest, since I got involved in YouTube, I have been hunting around for experts in the region and didn't find many people with the kind of experience that people have got in the US to learn from. So when I stumbled across Justin, I had to get him on for my audience. I always get a lot of questions on YouTube. I found it very impactful for my business, but there hasn't been a lot of support that I've had out there from professionals. Sort of had to learn from just hunting around for videos online. And your content, I have to say, is phenomenal. All the questions that one would have when starting a YouTube videos, you seem to have answered on your channel. So you've done very well.
Thank you very much. I guess that's kind of our strategy, is looking at the biggest pains and problems that our ideal customers, clients, students would have, and ideally trying to work it so that we are the ones that show up consistently for those pains and problems. I guess that's now what we teach, is how you can be strategic with the content that you do create on YouTube. So you're not just creating random videos that hopefully show up, but can show up when your ideal audience needs them most, which is when they're searching for things or looking for answers to solve a problem. You can be the one that helps them.
Yeah, and I know you've been involved with media for a long time. But when was it that you stumbled onto YouTube, and how did that journey begin for you?
Yeah, I guess I was more of a consumer than creator for a long time with YouTube. And I guess I had a channel just for a few random family videos and that sort of stuff. But it wasn't until around, would it be 8 years in November, that we kind of created what is now the Primal Video YouTube channel. So we started under a different name, different brand, and we were, I guess, spent big chunk of time going through the motions, uploading content to no one, to no success. So we really had to kind of work out what YouTube needs to be able to be successful on there.
Yeah. And along the way, like when you started, I don't know what it was like for you, but certainly for me, it was literally like I was getting 2 or 3 views a video, and I knew my mum was one of those views.
That's funny. So I've got a very similar story in that my mum played a role in the growth of our channel. We were 6 months in, and I think we had 49 or 50 subscribers 6 months in. I'm like, come on, like, I'm a video guy. I love making videos. I've got a lot of high paying clients and those sorts of things. How come only 50? I mean, we didn't have the right strategy, but at the time I'm like, I need to make these numbers look better. I created a channel for my mum to subscribe to the main channel just to make the numbers look a little bit better. But it really was because we didn't have a strategy. We were just creating stuff, throwing it up there, hope that it works, and build it and they will come. And it doesn't work that way. So we wasted a lot of time.
Was there a moment that things started to click for you that you noticed, or was it a combination of things like that?
Well, I guess taking a step back on it when it wasn't working, it was a business tool for us, right? So I say us, there's 2 of us at Primal Video, two directors in this company. And it really was, when it wasn't working for us, it was a bad business decision to keep going. If it wasn't bringing impact, leads, traffic for the business, then what was the point? So there was a point where we're kind of like, hey, this isn't working. We either stop this and focus on other things that might work, or we really spend some time figuring this out. And it did come back to something you touched on earlier about YouTube being a search engine. Like once you kind of think about that, it's like, well, how do we make sure that our content shows up? What does YouTube need so it understands our content? And what do people actually want? So we've kind of been going down that journey as to, the whole SEO side of things, but also what makes a good video, what do people actually want, and how do you come up with those topics and ideas and things. And that's now, I mean, we're strategic. We create 1 video a week, and we know that video has a good chance of working on the platform consistently. So it's not about just throwing more and more content at it. It's about being strategic with the content that you do put up.
And your content, well, the stuff that I've seen is there's a lot of like tutorials and, you know, answering those questions. You do a lot of recommendations with gears, technical stuff. Have you tried other styles of content? Is that style of content deliberate because it works best with the search engine? What has been your experience there?
Yeah, I guess if you create the content that you like to watch, then you can't really go wrong with that. So for me, I'm not someone who, like, if I'm looking for something, I've searched for something, I'm kind of in the mindset of just give me the answer. Don't pad it out unnecessarily. I don't need to see you at the beach or making cinematic B-roll of you making coffee. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, what I like to watch is just get to the point. Just show me whatever it is that I clicked on. And yeah, I mean, there's different type of content. I will still watch personality-driven content, vlog-style content, but I'm watching it for a different reason than if I've searched for something. So that's kind of what we've brought through is like, how do we keep the viewer happy? Because the viewer is the most important piece. You know, everyone talks about the algorithm, but the algorithm's only there to serve the viewer. So if the viewer's not clicking on the right video, or they're not interested, or they lose interest, or whatever it is, then they'll leave, and then YouTube will stop recommending or stop promoting. So it's all to create the videos that you would want to watch, or that your viewers want to watch in that case. And then having that flow through.
Yeah. When I started creating content a lot more regularly on YouTube in Melbourne, one of the biggest investments I made was in my intro video, right? And I had these aerials of me walking along the coast in St Kilda and all this cool music. And I thought, this is amazing. This is going to be great. And then I looked at the analytics and it was like people just stopped watching as soon as this long video, this intro came on. So I still like to watch it sometimes, but no one else does.
No, and I think someone pointed it out to me. It's like those, and because we used to have exactly the same. And someone goes, "Look, that's good for you and for your ego, but it really means nothing to most of the people watching." I'm like, well, you know, I mean, that's a bit of a slap in the face, but it's true. You know, I guess so. You can still use those, but you use them a little later once you've already hooked the viewer in. I mean, it's the same as starting your video. If I started a video and said, "Hey, it's Justin from Primal Video," we just watch the views drop because no one cares who you are at that point. They want to know, is this video for me? Did I click the right one, or should I have clicked another video? Because there's always so many options.
Yeah, and that's one big thing I think with YouTube. So not everyone realizes when they get into it is you really have to hold on to the viewer for that watch time. What are some of the tips you could give somebody starting a channel to hook the audience up front so they do keep watching the content?
Yeah, perfect. So leading on from what I was saying, like most people jump straight in and go, "Hey, it's Justin, and this is what I do. This is my channel. This is, you know, make sure you hit subscribe." Like, why would people subscribe to your videos at the start of the video when you haven't delivered any value yet? So
100%.
Take a step back, look at the viewer. The viewer needs to know, did I click the right video? So you need to hook them in at the start. So instead of introducing yourself, say, in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 5 video editing apps on iPhone to help you decide which is the best one for you. So if that's what you've clicked on, that's what you're interested in, you straight away know that you're in the right place. That little bit of anxiety where, like, did I click the right one? This one's 7 minutes. There was a 3-minute one. This one had a really bright thumbnail image. The other one was kind of dark, but looked really cool. Maybe I should click that one. You've got to let them know they're in the right place immediately.
Did they click the right video? I love that.
Yeah. Once you've done that, then you can introduce yourself. You've almost like bought yourself some time where they're relaxed into the content now. They're okay with their decision. I mean, don't waste their time. Don't make your videos longer than they need to be. Get to the point as quick as you can. But you can introduce yourself, talk more about the content, how it's going to be delivered, how it's going to be displayed is a huge thing to let people know, what the expectation is. I'm going to share the top 5. I'm going to share the pros and cons. And my goal is to have you leaving here with a solution. So at least they know how that works. But in terms of watch time, the other thing that you should do is try to keep people engaged as long as you can. And you could do that by saying something like, make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm also going to share with you my number 1 tip or a great resource to help you. Or, I mean, it's not like you're dangling the carrot. You're giving them something extra of value, but something that you know that they want, so that they're likely going to want to stick around for that.
Yeah. So on my YouTube channel, the interesting thing is the videos that have done the best have been the live keynote recordings. And so when I was looking at all my YouTube stats, I noticed that all my subscribers were coming from literally from one video where I was doing a live talk. And so I was creating more videos around that, but the optimizing them for the right keywords and stuff. But I would like personally to get more into those tutorial videos and you know, answering those educational questions direct to camera. And when somebody looks at a channel like yours, you know, with the amount of post-production that goes into what you've done there, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So like a small business owner who's starting a channel, what are the basic ingredients you think that you need to make it captivating enough for people to stay engaged?
So I think you've really got to get clear on what the content is about. You don't need to answer everything in your video. This is where doing some topic or some keyword research up front is going to tell you what the things are that people are actually searching for. So then once you know what they're searching for, then answer that specific pain or problem and just that inside that video. Now, I mean, you can offer bonuses and extra tips and those kinds of things or resources to help them, but they're there just for that one thing. So that research is super important, because whenever I've just gone, hey, this is a great idea for a video, like those videos are much, much harder. It's not to say you can't have success that way, but you're really kind of hoping for a viral video strategy, which is hit and miss. You might get one take off, but then trying to do it reliably and consistently, especially for a business, then that's not a game that I want to play. So we are looking at what are people searching for? What do they want? How do I share my thoughts and opinions on that topic? And then where can I lead them to next? Like once they've solved that, is it to join the email list? Is it to go and watch another video of ours or another video of someone else's, knowing that they're in that specific headspace for whatever the topic of that video was? So it really is about, you know, coming back to the viewer. But in terms of the creating the videos and making them easy, like you don't need to have the fanciest gear, the nicest tech. Some of the biggest channels just use their phones, just use their webcams. And that's a lot of the stuff that we teach on our channel, is removing people's excuses. You already have enough, but the content is the most important piece. So you want to get clear on what it is people want, and then don't drag it out, is really in a nutshell what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I love that, removing excuses. I watched one of your videos comparing whether you use a professional camera or you use your mobile device. And I think a lot of people starting out, and I've been down this rabbit hole as well, can get hung up on all the gear and everything. But what I hear you saying is the value is really in the research and delivering the value that people are looking for. Would that be right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is where, like, if you've ever searched for something on YouTube or Google and the YouTube video shows up and you click it and you're watching it and you're trying to get whatever that answer is or the solution to whatever it is that you've typed in, how do you feel if someone is dragging it out? Which videos do you like? And really sort of break that down. What do you like? What don't you like? And then you try to incorporate some of those things into your videos. Do people get straight to the point? Do you like it more where there's stories that are told throughout? Is that something, you know, that you could then incorporate into your videos? Now, for us, we use other like graphic elements. So I literally film our videos sitting just here talking to this camera, and our editors then go and add in extra B-roll or overlay footage to kind of make it more interesting, more engaging. You don't need to be picking up the camera, moving around, changing all the angles, because all of that is more setup, more pack up, and more things that can go wrong. So you can be strategic with your filming as well.
Yeah. Okay. And so is there a right time to start investing in things like, you know, post-production stuff like B-roll and, you know, different graphic elements to make it more engaging? Is it, you know, once you start to see that your videos are starting to gain some traction, is that the right time to start looking at doing those other things?
Well, these days there's some great resources to help you get all of that stuff for free. So you don't necessarily need those things. They definitely can help make your videos look more polished, which is something that everybody wants, but again, isn't important. The most important piece is the content and what you're saying and the value you're bringing in your videos.
Yeah.
Doesn't help us not want these things. So you can start off with free resources to add that extra polish. But then there's obviously paid services which make the whole licensing, legal stuff easier without needing to add credits and those kinds of things, but also just make it easier to find the stuff that you want.
And can you tell us a little bit about the level of planning that goes into creating a video? You mentioned before that you do one video a week. And we've talked a little bit about the research that you go into, the topics and the keywords that you target. What other preparation goes into creating a video?
So the biggest amount of prep really is locking down the topic and the content that's going to be presented. So, so for that, if you're wondering where you can come up with topic ideas, we literally just go to YouTube and we go to the search bar and we start typing in 2 to 3 words around the topic or around the industry or the content that we want to create, and just seeing what comes up, because those auto suggestions, they're not just random things that YouTube is suggesting. They're things that people have and people do actually want. So that's where we come up with the initial topic or the initial idea. Then you get in the headspace of, all right, if someone was searching for this, what level are they at? Based on that search term or search phrase, are they beginner? Are they more advanced? So that then when you go to create your video, you know exactly what they want and exactly what level they're at. So you can be really specific in your video. So when your viewers are watching it, they feel like the video was created for them. And those are the most engaging videos because they're like, wow, this person's answered all of my questions. They know where I'm at. They know what I'm struggling with. And they've shared their thoughts and opinions to help me get to where I want to go. So that really is the prep, is the planning. And then from there, you can look at what are the things that I need to include in this? And what are the best ways for me to show this? Do I actually need to draw something out? Do I need to get someone to animate something? Can I film this process happening, or am I recording my screen? But it all comes back to keeping the viewer in mind, and based on the topic, what's going to be the easiest way for you, but also the most effective way for the viewer to receive that value.
Yeah. And you've got a lot of experience in front of the camera, and like a lot of these topics, like I imagine you'd be able to speak off the cuff of quite easily. Do you believe in preparing scripts for videos, or does it really depend on the creator?
No, it's okay. It is personal preference. I think this is a good one I want to touch on because my previous life of creating documentaries and those kinds of things and working with action sports people, I was behind camera. So for me to get on camera in front, and create YouTube videos, it still pushes comfort zones today. So yes, we got 1.3 million subscribers. Yes, we release a video a week, but it's never like, yes, it's filming week. I'm excited to be in front of the camera. I like this. I like the live stuff where I get to talk to someone. I'm a people person. I like that, because you can vibe off the energy. You can adjust what you're saying, making sure that everyone's understanding what you're saying. So I like that side of things. So it has been a growth journey. If you want a good laugh, go and check out the early videos on our channel. I didn't even blink. The energy is just flat. But I mean, the whole game is that most of us aren't born to do this thing, but it can definitely be learned. So bringing in a script, bringing in some bullet points, some dot points, you don't want to be thinking in front of the camera. You want to know what you're going to say, or at least have a structure outlined so that you can look down and go, okay, I'm going to do my hook now. Justin said I need to do a hook. Yes. Here's my hook. And it might take you 3 goes to get it. Cool. That's what editing is for. This is to remove all the bad stuff. So you can take the pressure off, because even today, there's times where I'll create, around an hour's worth of footage for what's going to be like a 15-minute video, just because I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can. So there's things that I will retake a few times to get it right. And then it becomes, how do you do that effectively and efficiently so that you're not having to rewatch it all in your editing. So I'm leaving notes for myself editing, or for the editing team, to speed that piece up. So, if there's a mistake, I can put my hand up to the screen. So I'm looking for that when I'm editing and say, hang on, let's use the first take, not the second take. Gotcha. Or you can leave comments to yourself, so that, because it could be a little bit down the track where you actually get to that, or someone else completely might be doing this for you that they weren't there at the time of filming. So it's all about being strategic with everything from the topic right through to upload and release as well.
Yeah. And when you are coming up with these ideas for videos, I'm really getting into the nitty gritty here, but when you are coming up with these ideas, because so many of your videos are like related, and you're in the quite specific questions that you're answering, do you tend to batch create content around certain topics, or are you literally jumping from one idea to the next?
No, so I think we batch create content anyway. I mean, by the time you go to set up your camera, lights, and all of those things, you may as well try to shoot a couple of videos at a time instead of just one. Likewise, when you're in the headspace for researching, research 4, 5. We do in blocks of 8 normally. Right. So that's 8 weeks worth of content. So yeah, definitely want to be working in batch. And it's not that we're like, oh, shoot, Sunday's coming up. What video are we going to release this week? We're kind of ahead with our schedule for that. What was your question again? I'm sorry, I totally lost it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get an idea of that's helpful. I'm trying to get an idea of like the planning process in terms of like, okay, these are the topics we're talking about.
Right.
These are all of the subcategories that we could create videos about. And then, you've got, I don't know how many videos you've created, but I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands. How do you keep coming up with new ideas?
Yeah, so I think we're currently at about 430 videos that are out on our channel. Again, more content doesn't mean more results. So be strategic with what you're creating. But how do we come up with that? Like, I mean, we remake a lot of videos every year.
Gotcha.
Things like best video editing software, best video editing apps. And that's because what does the viewer want to do? Is the viewer going to click on the top apps for 2022 or they're going to click on 2021? Like people assume that things have changed or updated a lot. Even if they maybe not have, you can re-update your existing content if it works for you. And like if it's already proven, then you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You also don't need to think that your viewers have watched every single one of your videos, because that is a huge myth. So treat every viewer in your new videos as if they've never seen you before. Most of our views still come from people who aren't subscribed to the channel. I think it's 94 to 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed. So they've likely never watched any of our content before. So saying, oh, we've already covered that in another video. No, give them what they're there for. So this is, I mean, it gives you more freedom too in thinking that you don't have to have this massive list of topics and content to do. But in terms of like the research and stuff, we're really coming back to what are people looking for? What do I need to keep updated so that we become this resource or this place where people can keep checking back in year on year to make sure they're using the best stuff. But also that you're able to not stress about, I'm going to run out of content ideas.
Yeah. And you're running this YouTube channel as a business. You've moved into the membership and training side of things rather than working individually with clients, from what I understand from what's conversation before we hopped on. So I'm curious, how do you balance the YouTube monetization side of things with your other business outcomes?
Yeah, so I guess in our business, we have 3 revenue streams now, and we strive for as passive as possible, trying to stop the trading time for money. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We did it for years to get to the point that we are now. So we have three revenue streams. One is from YouTube ads, which started out as a very small amount, but given the size of our channel now, it's actually a decent amount that drops into our bank account every month. The second one is our membership, which you mentioned, our digital product, which is kind of a deeper dive into the stuff that we cover on our YouTube channel with an amazing community and our processes and systems and that kind of stuff. The third one is affiliate marketing. And this is where I think this is a huge opportunity for anyone. Like from day one, you can start with any content, helping people with a buying decision, helping them work out which product, which tool, which service. Obviously, it needs to be a good product, tool, or service, not the ones with the biggest commissions, the ones that actually is the best one for your viewers. And that is the biggest piece of revenue in our business, is the affiliate marketing stuff. And the three of them are all actually really intertwined, because we could do a video on YouTube talking about top editing apps, top editing programs, or how to grow your email list. And some of those tools and services and things can have affiliate programs as well. Likewise, in the membership, we're able to drive traffic back to the YouTube channel. So it kind of, you can really introduce new revenue streams no matter what your business is.
Yeah. And with the YouTube ads, like, because obviously you can decide how many ads, for those you're watching that aren't familiar, you can decide how many ads actually show up within a video. Is there a system that you follow for how often to put ads in to not defer people from watching?
Yeah, so this is where, I mean, in a lot of our videos, we don't have the in-stream ads. So everyone now on YouTube is used to having the ads at the start. YouTube is now also putting them at the end, but it's also like it's treated on an individual, I guess, case by case or individual viewer basis. So if you've already seen 2 ads on a video before and you're watching another video, you might not actually see any ads on the next one. So this is where we like to leave this up to YouTube as to where the ad placements are. Gotcha. So we're not necessarily saying, okay, we're going to put 8 ads inside of this video. We've experimented with it, and it wasn't really worth it if it kills the video, if it kills the viewer experience on there. But likewise, I mean, YouTube's a business. We're all playing on their turf. We're not paying to be there. They're actually paying us to be there. So it would make sense that we're also letting them make money from the back of it too, as long as, you know, they've got both of our interests at heart, which they seem to do. So we normally leave that side of things to YouTube. And for anyone that's anti-ads on YouTube, you can pay the $9 a month for YouTube Premium and remove them. And it's an amazing experience. I can't say how good it is being on YouTube without seeing ads. So yeah, there's both sides.
Yeah, cool. I'm very interested in hearing your perspective, because I've had people mention it to me before, and I thought, I better remove some of these in-stream ads. If they're popping up too much, it could.
So you can choose which ones, as you said, and I think that would be the one that we do turn off on a lot of videos. But the ones at the start, the ones at the end, that's pretty standard these days.
Yeah, and so is a week a video a week? Do you find that that is enough quantity? Like, is there because I've heard that, you know, the frequency is quite important, but I imagine as well, you also said, like, if it's detracting from the quality, is there an optimal time that people should be looking to post? Like, is less than one a week too little? Or
so it's really going to come down to the type of content and how long it takes you to make it as well. I mean, in some industries, if you're actually making something, arts and craft, woodwork, whatever, like it might take you longer to make videos. And that's not to say that you need to force out content and just upload more, because it's, again, all about creating good, effective content than just throwing stuff up there and hope that it works. So if it takes you 3 weeks to make a video, then upload one every 3 weeks. Some of the biggest channels only upload once a month, and some of them only upload like once a quarter, and they're still massive channels, but those videos are amazing. So for us, what we found is kind of the sweet spot is one a week. And obviously we're filming them in batch, editing in batch. So we're not doing it every week. But this frees us up to work in the business and on the business instead of just sit there on that hamster wheel of creating content. But this is also why we went all in on one platform. There's too many people out there saying you need to be on Instagram, which is 3 times a week, and you need to be on TikTok now. I mean, Gary Vee said something about uploading 6 times a day. Like, that's just not a game that I want to play. Like, I like making videos, but I like not having to make them all the time. So this is where, I mean, we did experiment with our channel uploading 2 videos a week, but the growth wasn't double. Yet the workload was a lot more. So we just went back and said, no, let's just do 1 video a week. And we've got videos that are coming up on 8 years old now that are still bringing in 1,000 views a day, still getting our affiliate links clicked, and from no extra work from us. So that's what I like about YouTube, is your content sticks around.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about YouTube Shorts? I know very little about YouTube Shorts, and I know you mentioned Gary Vee. He mentions YouTube Shorts are a big deal. What are your thoughts on them, and how often do you upload to YouTube Shorts?
So they can be a big deal, but they are still such a new thing. And YouTube is still making so many changes with the algorithm for shorts, like drastic changes. So we've all heard those success stories of where people upload 1 or 2 shorts and it blows up their channel, and they get 100,000 subscribers on their channel or 1 million subscribers on their channel just from doing shorts. So it is possible. But for most of us, it's not proven and it's not guaranteed. So what I would suggest is play with shorts, but in addition to creating, say, regular YouTube videos, the stuff that is proven, the stuff that is going to show up and can bring you in views, impact, traffic for years after, that's what most people are going to YouTube for. I mean, for me personally, if I went, hey, I really feel like watching some vertical videos under a minute, I'm probably going to open another app, then go to YouTube, right? So it's not where most people are going there to consume that type of content yet. That's not to say it won't be. I'm not saying don't do it, because it can help, and it can help a lot, but it's in addition to. So for us right now, we're actually not creating shorts at all. So we have played with it. The time and effort to create them, again, we could have maybe made a second YouTube video for that, and something that would then bring in more impact for years after. So we're not dismissing it. I know some people have done really well, but most people that we talk to, it's just another thing that they're then adding to their hamster wheel of, I need to do all of this stuff, but you don't need to. Yeah.
Very interesting. So when if a business is looking to create a YouTube channel from scratch, what are some of the key things that they need to be mindful of in terms of setting up their channel?
Yeah, I think, look, The actual channel setup these days is not as important as it used to be. The most important piece in growing a YouTube channel is the video content. Think of how many times you're on YouTube and you're looking at stuff. It's videos that YouTube is suggesting to you. Like, you're always seeing pages of videos, suggesting videos. Very rarely will it suggest a channel. So yes, you should have a nice banner art. You should have a good profile picture. You should have some information about what your channel is about for people that make it. But most people are going to find you through an actual video. So that's the most important piece, because we do see a lot of people, a lot of businesses specifically, they'll go and get graphic designers to do all this stuff, but it'll look pretty, but no one's going to make it there because they haven't gone through the motions of creating the video content. So that should always be the focus, is the video content. And then, you know, in extra time, make it look nice, categorize it all. Definitely use playlists so that people that do make it there, they can see in categories or groups the different type of content that you create. But also, if it's a brand new channel, link off to other channels or other creators that do have the videos that you want to create and that are relevant to your channel while you're starting out. I mean, while you're growing as well, because again, if you're in the headspace of, if someone's watching my video, if I don't have, they make it to the end, right? So they liked this video. If you don't have the next best video, send them to someone who does. Ideally, it's a bigger channel. There's too many people who are like, no, this is competition. I don't want to give people my competition the views. This is going to help your channel grow. It's going to create ties between your channel and theirs. YouTube will start to see the audience is similar, and it'll likely start recommending your stuff off the back of these bigger videos and bigger channels. So don't be afraid to link off to others, and you can do that through playlists and things as well. Again, so come from that
other people's
place
content in your playlists.
In your playlist, link it at the end of your video. You can say, linked on screen is another amazing video for you to check out. You could swap that later for one of your own when you have the next best video. But YouTube rewards session time. It's not just how long they watch your video, it's how many videos they're watching in that session. So make sure that they're not just leaving yours at the end and not coming back.
Yeah, it's something that you do very well. As soon as I started watching one of your videos, there was another one that popped up that was interesting, and then it seems so seamless, but it's obviously intentional.
But a lot of that too is YouTube now recommending other content. So it's not, I mean, we'll recommend our own if we think it's a fit, but we'll also give YouTube the opportunity as well. You can just have a YouTube recommended video on screen, and it could be anything. Yeah, and then and you were mentioning also, or hinting there, that about like getting your videos recommended on other people's channels, similar content and that kind of thing. And what's great about what you've done, I mean, just had a couple of deep dives into your channel now, is I can spot when it's your video through the thumbnail, because they're quite consistent. There's another, so your thumbnail image is huge, right? Because even if you're showing up in the top spots on YouTube, or even on the homepage on YouTube, if no one clicks on your video, no one's going to see it. So this is another thing that we did completely wrong at the start. Our thumbnail images were terrible, and a lot of people still they don't consider that. But world's best video, no one clicks on it, no one's going to see it. You need to make sure that your thumbnail image stands out, that it grabs attention, that it creates some intrigue. Like, people are like, oh, what's going on here? As much as I hate it, I feel like an idiot pointing and pulling silly faces, but it works, right? This is, so I would be happily not do it, but got to get that click.
So someone's asked in the comments here about thumbnails, so maybe we'll just delve into that in a little bit more. So one of the things that you notice on YouTube a lot with effective thumbnails is those close-up pictures of those reaction faces, or emotional sort of surprise, or what have you. Can you tell us a bit about why that stuff works and how important it is?
I mean, the quick, something I want to throw out here quickly is that should work. It works for our channel. It works for a lot of other channels, but there's some types of content where that doesn't work. So no matter what your channel is, you really want to be testing this stuff to see what does work. And there's tools like TubeBuddy, which actually lets you A/B split test your thumbnails. So you can actually upload 2 of them, and it's going to serve one to some audience, some to the other. And that's actually going to tell you which works better, because it's not what we think is the nicer, prettier looking thumbnail. It's which one actually gets clicked more. So this is where, I mean, we're doing different things. If I'm say doing an iPhone video, I'll hold up the iPhone so that people can quickly at a glance see, okay, that video is about iPhone. So you want to let them, if they can quickly work out what the video is about just by looking at that thumbnail image, that's the holy grail. So we'll use 3 to 5 words, best editing software, Mac, maybe put the Apple logo, maybe I'm holding a laptop or something like that. You don't want to make your viewers work for it to work out what the video is about. So the thumbnail image is super important with that. So as for the pointing, whatever, like it's more just to grab their attention. But also, as you said, we're consistent with that, is that my face is on pretty much all of our thumbnail images. So that if you have seen one of our videos before, next time there's a thumbnail image there, it might feel familiar. Like maybe I've watched one of those videos before. Maybe I'll click that one again.
Yeah. Shout out to TubeBuddy. That was a good recommendation there. I've done some A/B tests with them. Very effective. One of the things I noticed when I was doing those A/B tests is because I create all this content on the laptop, I was noticing that I was like, oh, of course these thumbnails aren't working as well. They're much harder to read on a mobile device. You've got to make it really bold and clear so people can see on a mobile phone what you're talking about.
Yeah. And this is why, like 3 to 5 words. If you've got too many words when they're small on a small screen, or if you've got really cursive font, it's too hard to read. And people won't spend the time to really look at it and, oh, I wonder what that says. No, they're off. Attention spans for working out what people want to click on is quick. So we just go basic fonts, big, bold fonts. We normally have some color behind the text just so it stands out, so it's not getting lost in the background. We've gone for simplicity, and it works.
Okay, so we've talked a bit about the thumbnail. What about the titles for the videos? How important are they? And is it a balance of getting keywords in there and making it? What makes it clickable?
No, so your title of your video, the thumbnail, and what you're saying inside the video, or what's happening inside the video, are probably the 3 most important things. Like YouTube is transcribing your videos. So this is where, once I do that keyword research, we work out what phrase we're going to target or what people actually want by going to that YouTube search box and those auto suggestions. We'll normally use that in the title of the video, so that when people are searching for something, YouTube's going to see that, hey, that search phrase that a lot of people want is lining up perfectly with what's in the title of the video. And hey, it's also what's been said word for word in the start of the video. Because it's listening, that YouTube's going to at least try it in those top spots and see if it is what people want. So at the start of every video, I use a teleprompter. I script that piece so that I don't mess it up. I want to say those keywords in the exact same order. So your title is very important, what you're titling your video. Again, we'll try to optimize that wherever we can. But you've still got to do it with the viewer in mind, like what would make them click. And so in like a personal training or workout video, you could have something like workout from home, right? Which could have million searches a month, and it'd be very saturated. A lot of people would be creating that. But what makes your video clickable? Is it that this is a 10-minute high intensity workout that will make you sweat? Now, no one's going to search for workout that will make you sweat, but if they see that, they're like, hey, that's exactly what I want. No equipment necessary. Oh, I don't need to go and have dumbbells and all these extra things. Like, this video is for me. So you want to create the title so that it is going to show up, so that YouTube understands it, but then you need to make it kind of not clickbaity, but you need to make it for the viewer so that they're like, that's the one that I want to click on. So there is gold. Yeah, that's so gold. Because that's you could have the thumbnail right and the title right, but you've got to back it up, haven't you, with the value in the video? So this is where there's not one thing. Like, you could be nailing one of these things, but so there's 3 things. You need to have your content showing up on the platform. So you need to be strategic with what it is you're creating, title it right. You then need to get the click, as we said, the thumbnail image. The third one is you need to keep them watching. If they click on your video, watch a few seconds and leave, even if you've nailed the first 2, YouTube's still not going to keep pushing your content out, because it sees the viewer behavior as no one's watching it. They don't like it. They're leaving. So you really need to be focused on those 3 things.
There's questions come up here about connecting and sharing on Facebook groups. Maybe just to tie this in with a few other bits and pieces, like how important is tying in other social media? And also, I'm curious, like when you post on, say, LinkedIn, for example, it's quite important that you get that traction early on after you've posted. So when you post, do you normally do something to amplify the content, whether it's through other social media sites, or how do you leverage off other audiences outside of YouTube?
Yeah, I think for anyone that does already have another audience, that is the right audience for the video, like they're likely going to be interested in it, then yeah, for sure, share it out. Now, if it's in a Facebook group specifically, as the question said, make sure that you obviously have permission to share it in there and that you're coming from a place of adding value. Don't just spam your links in there. We all hate that stuff. So if it's answering someone's question, then yeah, for sure, that could be great, because the people that do click it and come across to YouTube, they're likely going to want to watch your video. But this is where you don't want to get your friends and family or just people to give you views and to watch your video to help you out, because all that's going to do is confuse the algorithm, and it can actually slow down your growth, because all YouTube wants to do is say, hey, this person made it right to the end. How do I find more people like this for this video? So what are their viewing habits? What other videos have they watched? Maybe I'll start to put this in front of those viewers. So you don't want to confuse it at all. But yeah, for sure, if you've already got an email list or following somewhere else, and you know that a big percentage of your audience could be interested in that video, then for sure, link it. So for us, we share on Twitter, we share on Facebook, and it's probably the worst thing that you could do on those platforms is just linking your YouTube videos. But again, we went all in on one platform, instead of having to, having a small platform or small growth on all these different platforms and having to work with all the different algorithms and things that you need to do to be successful on them. We just picked one. So yeah.
And is that important to get early on, that momentum, to get some attention to the video?
It does help, but it's not going to make or break your video, because there's so many cases now where people are actually suggesting to not push it out. Now, I don't agree with that. I think, as we just said, if you've got the right audience, then definitely let them choose if it's worthy of them clicking or not. And this is where I think if you do share, don't just share your channel, share a specific video. This week's video is on this topic. So that way people aren't just going to click it unless they're interested in that topic. But there are people that are growing channels now with just relying purely on the algorithm. And again, I've seen mixed results with this, but note that the YouTube algorithm is really good now. And that if it can understand what your content is about, and you do have a compelling title and a compelling thumbnail image, you can grow without needing to share it out. So yeah, there's no right or wrong with that. But if you do get the right people on your video in that first 24 to 48 hours, there is reason to believe that can help YouTube understand who those right people are if they watch it right way through, that they can, I guess, identify more potential viewers faster.
Yeah, I have noticed when I share the YouTube videos on LinkedIn, they get quite a lot of traffic now. They didn't used to, but like sharing external links was always a bit, but it actually works quite well now on YouTube. And it's probably because it's relevant, because a lot of the content is about LinkedIn. Like you say,
and I think, if it's relevant, for sure. But it's also like, if you're measuring the lifetime of your content in years, then what you're really doing in the first week, 2 weeks, in the big scheme of it, 8 years on, is that really going to make a difference? Probably not, but 100%. It could help you get some results faster while you start.
Yeah. Oh, look, we've got so much value from chatting in this short period of time. I'm really curious, and I'm sure a lot of the people tuning in are, how can we become more involved with what you're doing? Is there an opportunity to get involved in the membership? How does that all work?
Yeah, so we do have thank you, start with. We do have a closed membership. We do have a wait list that you can join if you're interested in kind of the stuff that we teach on our YouTube channel, but at a deeper level, the community, I guess it's our systems and processes. It's really, we don't want people to take the 8 years that it took us to get to this point. We want to help people sort of jump that learning curve faster. So we do have a Primal Video Accelerator program, and it's primalvideo.com/accelerator. But outside of that, our YouTube channel or our website, there's a ton of free resources and everything on there as well.
There's a lot of stuff there. I've jumped on the wait list just before we hopped on. I dropped my email address in there, so hopefully I get a chance to get involved. I think it's fantastic what you're doing, and like I said before, there's not a huge amount of experts willing to share their knowledge out there. So I think it's really fantastic what you're doing. Anyone's tuning in, I suggest that you go over to Justin's YouTube channel, Primal Video. Check out his website. There's so much free stuff on there, free content. I'm certainly curious to find out more about the accelerator and see how I can get more involved. But thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I really appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me on. These a lot of fun. Awesome to hang out.
All right, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.